Live, Joseph Hackett, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Eastern Standard Time, 2:15 a.m., the 27th of July. West Coast is what? 11:15. President Donald Trump and Collusion. We got to go through these. We let the country know. The Democrats, the Republicans. This was sent Wednesday, December 5th, 2018. No coincidence. They had motives and opportunity. President Trump. When the polls of various organizations came out with their poll, results showing Hillary Clinton being up pretty good, with so very little time of making that up, Donald Trump went into desperate mode. He knowing that there were much evidence against Hillary Clinton, such as those emails, the debacle at the United States Embassy, and he already allied up with Vladimir Putin, and knowing of the joining Assange WikiLeaks factor. This was a perfect opportunity for him to turn the nomination around into a state. To build up his global financial empire, he would need to gain government contracts. He had the type of business that had a need for the use of government and contracts. He could not get them by being just a businessman. He needed to be some kind of a government official. What better way he could get this done than by being the President of the United States, with his family being part of the government themselves. A few years back, he was on his way to getting a contract that would land him a business deal with Russia for a Trump Tower in Moscow. That fell through, but it fell through, of course, when then President Barack Obama levied sanctions on Russia's businesses that took down that deal. It's just as businessman that didn't work out. As the President of the United States, he could get this done and more, but not one iota did he know how government works, especially with their checks and balances system this United States is run by. He is in total shock and bewilderment in trying to force the government to do it his way. He does not want sanctions levied on the governments that want to be in business with him. The only time he allows sanctions is when he is forced to. He would have to allow it because he would have no choice in that matter. The United States Congress has control of that. But as in the case of Iran, according to how he sees it, Iran's deal with the United States was a bad one for his business. He had to get rid of that deal and contract a new one that he sees will benefit him. Iran is the number one supporter of terrorism, not good for business. As in the case of Saudi Arabia, he believes he has a great need for them in their business. And even the very horrific murder of Khashoggi did not stop him from his great desire and need for benefiting from his relationship with Saudi Arabia. In other words, he's putting his business propositions first before the United States policy, domestic and foreign. This is what he means by his coining the phrase America first. He means him and his family first. President Woodrow Wilson's campaign slogan was, "We kept us at war, America first." President Harding, President Coolidge, and Senator Robert A. Taft, who was U.S. Senator at the time, shared Harding's America First ideas. President Coolidge brought the same ideas to government. Harding and Coolidge is where he and Donald Trump looks to have his ideas from. This is why he is so very anxious to run for presidency of the United States, even if it was not without cost. Dubious people need dubious ideas with dubious relationships that can pull through the dubious schemes. When you consider all of his business ventures with foreign leaders in countries around the world, what better position to be in than to be the President of the United States, where he can make the best deals for himself with a tremendous benefit going to his family. His taxes are a good indication. He proclaimed himself to be a nationalist, but all the while he knew that he needed the global economy, making deals he needed for his business to survive, and to make up for his bad investments in the United States and the world. Again, he had the big time motive and opportunity. Just had himself a dream. That's a pretty good indication. On Wednesday, April 17th, 2019, I wrote again on the subject of Trump's collusion. I wrote, President Donald Trump, in the meeting with Russian President Putin in Helsinki, Finland, had no tape recordings and no other evidence of dictation found or given. This, along with Roger Stone and Paul Manafort's lying, and both of their discipline in not talking, while Mueller had no evidence that he could use concerning collusion. The lying of Stone and Manafort covering up the collusion question, no matter what the outcome of that would come to them, and the promise of possible pardon for President Trump to Stone and Manafort, plus the question of collusion evidence from Mueller in the investigations. Mueller cannot use that incident against Trump for his collusion with Russia. According to the law, the defense would say, objection, that is mere speculation. They would need to get a confession from them. An attorney might try it, but that would be objected by the defense, and the judge will say sustained. But if the jury would use their own mind when thinking, they may not need that kind of evidence. They may make up their own mind and look at the circumstantial evidence instead, like I have. Mueller, in his final report, did a great disservice to the people of this country. He drew nothing on the question of did the president collude with Putin and the Russians. In so doing, brought this country into further injustice and wrongdoing, much of it by President Trump's misdeeds and rhetoric and lies, even and his covering up and his let me get back to that. He is even doing this after the statement by Barr basically declaring him of collusion. Trump so far is encouraged by the statement of Barr's to go on with the blame game. Mueller should have at least offered in his final report that the question of President Trump and collusion should continue to be investigated beyond he and his staff's collusion into this matter. The United States of America continues to fall into their scheme of injustice and evil. Trump's fall into their scheme of injustice and evil, and of their deeds of crime and lies. Mueller has, at the end of his work, brought this United States to even greater peril. That is not really his fault. It is the political system involved for it. The DOJ, which he could just say, I don't care about that. That's not law. It's opinion. They, Stone and Manafort, took a cue from the Nixon tapes that were found during President Nixon talking to his people about the cover-up that brought President Nixon to resign. Do not take discussions to your collusion when those things are being talked about, or any other evidence that would give away the truth about the conspiracy of collusion with Russia. Lie and lie and lie some more. Cover up and cover up and cover up some more. Whatever, be disciplined. No opening up of your mouth that would incriminate yourself and President Trump, even if it means going to jail. Because this could mean execution against Stone, Manafort, and Donald Trump, because this is treason. What about those questions in paper that Trump answered from Mueller with the guidance of his lawyers Rudy Giuliani and Jay Sekulow that were not answered in a court setting? The two lawyers for Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani and Jay Sekulow, covered up for him and helped him get around those questions in paper from Mueller. Those questions and answers were not under oath. All three, they may have been under some kind of oath, but not really real oath. All three, Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and Jay Sekulow, can manipulate and concoct anything they can get around the truth of any matter. The questions do not have to be in the court setting and on oath, but can be done in a relaxed and take your time setting with no one around. You notice how long it took them to send the president's answer back to Mueller. And first Mueller said he didn't want to get into interfering with the election. The Russians will interfere with the election. One can even overcome questions by saying, I do not recollect. They somewhere in their conscience could have some suspicion that Trump could have colluded with the Russians to become president. But of course, Trump has a talent for hiding the truth and getting away with lying. He has in all his life hired corrupt lawyers. Donald Trump could look you in the eye and lie and you believe him. Because you very well want to, just like President Richard Nixon lied to George Bush Sr. and George Bush Sr. believed him because he wanted to. President Trump, Roger Stone, and Paul Manafort, they do not obstruct justice. They colluded or conspired to compete with the Russians. What obstruction from them is there? You either colluded or you conspire with the Russians or you obstruct justice. You lie and hide and cover up your collusion or conspiracy with Russia. Obstructing justice is what William Barr and the Republican Party are doing. Obstructing justice on behalf of President Trump, Roger Stone, and Paul Manafort. You have conspired and colluded with the Russians, which is treason. Giuliani initiated and offered that himself when he said that collusion is not a crime. So what if Donald Trump did? It is not illegal anyway. He made a case for collusion himself and then squirmed out of it by again babbling some gibberish like he had done throughout the process. One of the presidential campaign staff was a person named Carter Page, so-called dossier spoke about as being associated with the Roger Kremlin. I mentioned in an email that Laura Ingraham asked him that Carter Page that question. Carter Page admitted it, and Laura Ingraham flabbergasted said about Carter. And this is the reason why they're asking you this. Again, one of the presidential campaign staff was a person named Carter Page, who the so-called dossier spoke about as being associated with the Russian Kremlin. That part of the dossier was true. He was also with President Trump's campaign team. He was the subject of a FISA warrant. This was cited by the so-called dossier as being associated with the Russian Kremlin from 2013 to 2016. And he was with Donald Trump campaign committee as an advisor. Left when he was cited by the Christopher Steele dossier. He offered Vladimir Putin that when President Trump was president, the sanctions levied on Putin and the Russians would be taken away. These sanctions were put in place by President Barack Obama, which put an end to Trump's and Putin's deal for a Trump Tower in Moscow, fueling the animosity that Donald Trump has for Barack Obama. After Trump became president, Trump set out to undo all the policies then that President Obama put forth. Donald Trump had plenty of motive and opportunity to collude with the Russians. For one, he could undo the sanctions of Putin and Russia. And two, he could change all of the United States policies that the United States had with many of the other countries that he thought were bad for his own business and family. These are two of the reasons for his motive opportunity to become president of the United States. He needed Putin and Russia desperately. The Trump family needed money. The financial world was crumbling. None of them Carl Page from Carter Page. He unwittingly admitted to it. Well, there it is. I mentioned it again. He unwittingly admitted to it in the Laura Ingraham show on Fox News of the dossier claiming that he was an associate with Trump. Laura Ingraham asked him the question, and when he admitted to it, Laura Ingraham, being flabbergasted, shouted out, Carter, can you see why they're questioning this about you? But Carter, quick, Carter Page should have pleaded the Fifth Amendment before Laura Ingraham did not answer her. This included again President Trump in collusion. He colluded with the Russians. He committed treason. He aided and abetted Russia. This is just back again. It's north of Pennsylvania. It's now 2:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go back to my videos. Listen to them carefully. Constantly. Now, somebody complained that my microphone is horrible. Please tell me. Please send me a line, a comment, telling me that it is horrible. So I need you to hear all these things. Thank you. This is Joseph. Bye for now. See you again real soon.